So yesterday, me and my friend, we did an interview, which you can find in the video section. It's quite a long interview of about an hour where he describes all his experiences with KAP, going in, going through it, and after it. I thought it was really fun and interesting, but I haven't done a lot of in-person interviews, so I'm still learning it. Learning the vibe, the techniques, the adaptability, the flexibility. So I wanted to make a video today to make a concise summary of what was said yesterday. So before he went to KAP, he thought that basically what he saw during the demo videos, he got afraid and he was scared that it looked like possession, right? So his conditioning said this is what possession looks like. He even showed it to a couple of people and they said, are they possessed? Is this exorcism? So he had that, but because I told him about my experience and he saw that I was all good and well, and I told him about the benefits of it, he was encouraged to go. So he came along with me, and in the beginning he didn't experience a lot. He mostly experienced just being in the body and thinking about what's happening. Should I move? Do I want to move? And sometimes he had these thoughts, and then he followed the thoughts to move or to do something. But he thought nothing was really happening. It's not like with the other people. So with the first session, he was a bit disappointed, but he did feel the collective energy. He did feel that something was shifting, something was changing. So after the second session, he had the expectation of, I know what it's gonna be like. So he thought, yeah, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna do the same basically. So when he came, he was thinking the whole time in his head about what he should do, how it should happen, and basically nothing happened at all. Again, he did feel the collective energy and he liked the atmosphere. And he started to notice an uplifting in energy. So his vibrations were rising. So he did feel a high on energy, high on life. So the third session, he thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go into it and I'm not gonna bother with it anymore. So he went in, and this session, he had a lot of movements, he had a lot of releases, noises, he spoke, he made noises, he felt things. The facilitator touched him a couple of times, and every time that she touched him, there were moments of deepening and release, and he was really surprised by how great and deep this process goes, right? He felt things were stuck and then they were dissolved, and he felt uplifted. So throughout these sessions and after these sessions, the main thing he noticed, and this is funny because in the interview we talk about this, but after the interview he relaxed more and he talked about this even more. So between the sessions, he felt more an acknowledgement of his own feelings. He became aware, like, I have these feelings. I feel them and they want to be expressed. So he said, before, when I would be at work and somebody would confront me or there would be some kind of confrontation or discussion, I would usually hold myself back, avoid it. But now I feel this sense that I have my feelings, I own them, I acknowledge them, and I want to give them life. Like, he doesn't suppress it anymore. He just says what he wants to say. He's being himself. He's being more himself. And because of that, things are bubbling up. Unconscious patterns, unconscious thoughts are bubbling up, but it's brought into his awareness. All that was suppressed is now coming up, and he's ready for it. He's at a stage in his development where he can actually work with it, right? So what was so funny was, I remember in the past whenever I would ask him to do a new thing, an experiment, like try something new, or put himself in a position where he's exposed or vulnerable in front of a group of people, he would always be a bit shy, a bit held back. He had this tension and this feeling of like, I'm not like you, I cannot do this, I don't really want to do this. He felt uncomfortable, so he drew. But now, since doing KAP, he's just like, okay, I don't really feel like doing it, but I want to try. I want to try this new experience. And so we went to a convention, and there was like a couple of Hollywood stars, and I was like, let's go ask questions at a microphone. And he was really hesitant about it, but then he went up and he asked a question, a really good question. And then they had like a little bit of banter, and afterwards he felt like this feeling of like, wow, it wasn't that bad. I can do this, because you get used to the tension. And as the sessions progressed, he told me, what really is great about this is I'm not holding back anymore. I'm allowing myself to be fully who I am. So whatever I want to express, I do. Wherever I feel a truth for something, I just say it. I just blurt it out, and I deal with it. I give it life. I don't avoid life. One of the main benefits that he noticed was he was an avid coffee drinker, and all of a sudden his need for coffee just went away, and he didn't have any withdrawals. He wanted to go to a vegan diet because he felt the heaviness of his current diet, and he wanted to try a diet that was more light, life-giving foods, right? So he switched to vegan, and he's still eating it now, and he's making those changes without his will, without having to say to himself, I want to do this because of that, without having to talk himself into it. It's just his energetic shifts are aligning in such a way that he feels like this is what I need to do. And energetically he's pulled towards that. So he doesn't have to put any willpower or effort into it. I mean, of course, there is some to have momentum, but energetically it's all from KAP, because it gives you this energetic shift and allows. Venet Wong tells it in an interview. He says, the desires of your lower self, of your ego, fall away, and the desires of your higher self can arise and present themselves. So you're becoming more you. A lot of people after the sessions, they say, it's like coming back home. I feel like I came home. I rediscovered myself. We talked about this with my friend also. In the past, I've used relationships and my partner to live through her. So she was like my key to life. By engaging with her in relationship, in connection, I felt alive, right? I felt in love, and I thought this is what life is. This is the pinnacle of life. Being in love, loving together, living together. But as I soon found out, it wasn't the whole truth of it. It's only a very small portion of it. It's a beautiful portion, it's an important portion, but it's not all of it. And we talked about this, we laughed about this. In KAP, right, you get this upsurge of energy and you come back to your center, you feel at home, you feel alive. Like after a KAP session, you feel so alive. It's like, I think it's the most alive feeling that you can have. It's way more engaging than sex. It's way more deeper and all-involving, all-absorbing than sex. And so afterwards you feel like, wow, I'm alive. I can do this. I have energy. I have power to do this, to do that, to do. You have energy to create, right? But before KAP, I would only have those experiences when I would have like intimate or beautiful moments with my girlfriend, or in my work I would have some breakthrough or something, or in my personal development I would have some breakthrough, like these moments of breakthrough, and then you feel alive. You feel like, yes, I'm high on life, I'm living. But then it would go back, it would dissipate. And I'm like, this is a great thing to just keep your energy up and stay connected to life. And you can use this tool. You don't have to be dependent on it, but you can use this tool as long as you need it, right? Because we talked about this and he said, I don't want to become dependent on it, because at a certain point, I do wish my energy to be a self-regulating mechanism, like that my energy is so alive and so flowing in myself that I don't need to go to a KAP session. I can go if I need some kind of process to happen, or if I need to go deeper or release something, then I will. So when I asked him, what role do you want KAP to play in your life? He said, it's like whenever in my life there will be a buildup of tension or frustration or just confusion or energy is not flowing, I'll go to there and I will be able to release. I will be able to connect with myself, bring myself into alignment. He's like, when I went to a therapy session, it was just talking. They don't actually do anything for you. They don't make anything happen. They just allow you to have your own process of inquiry, right? And they just giving questions to inquire deeper into your own process, your own consciousness. But as we talked about, this is a process which can be an ego builder, because in psychology, usually the framework that they use is very three-dimensional. It's not holistic. Some therapists are holistic, so they include the spiritual life, the emotional life, all aspects. But some therapists just want you to be a functioning citizen that does his job and is able to participate and contribute in society. So if it's needed, they'll give you pills so that you can function, so that you can contribute, so that you can earn your keep, right? Pay your taxes and be of value to society, right? So that you're not being dragged along. So last thing that he said about KAP was, he said, when I didn't expect this, but when I came home after KAP, I noticed that I was able to have like these honest, vulnerable conversations with my wife. I was able to communicate in a very direct, vulnerable way and express my truth. And I realized, like, I now have a path, a way of dealing with myself, of expressing myself, of helping myself, right? And it's definitely a before and an after, because once you discover this tool and what this tool can bring for you in your life, you'll be really amazed, because after your KAP sessions, things will magically happen. Things will just change by themselves. Revelations, insights, people will come, people will go, but it's all for the better. Your life will be falling into place. Your expression will be authentic. You will grow more into your own embodiment of who you truly are. Your feelings, your emotions, your ideas, your voice, it will all start to bubble up. It will all start to grow, and you will become yourself more. I think this is such a great tool, and he prefers it over ayahuasca or other psychedelics because you stay conscious. During the whole process, you stay conscious. You don't go unconscious. Now, he has done 3 sessions in 1 week, and then now he hasn't done a session for 10 days or for 2 weeks. He told me, like, I do feel that after the session, the energy is going down and down and down. And there's this feeling like, because you're back in your environment and your vibration is going down, right? That means you're again susceptible to the conditioning of your environment. Your environment is set up in a way which triggers you to remind you of who you are. because of this person in this interaction, you're reminded to be a certain way. Because of this kind of life situation, you're reminded you're supposed to be a certain kind of way. And so old habits or things from the unconscious are starting to creep in again, right? Like, why shouldn't I do this? Why shouldn't I avoid this? So they start to creep back in. So I told him, like, either you have to find a practice for yourself to keep your vibrations up through certain meditations. Like, I really like the Joe Dispenza Blessing of the Energy Center meditations, because you can daily center your chakras so that your energy flows and your vibration stays consistent, independent of if you do a KAP session or any other modalities. It's a self-sufficient practice. And of course, go to KAP, because in KAP, he said, but the thing that I've noticed is the way that I'm able to express myself more, the way that I'm able to go into risky situation where I felt vulnerable or blocked before, where I was afraid to go before, I feel I can just go now. And I don't have this feeling anymore of like, I wish I didn't go, it was so bad. It's like I'm able to let go more and flow with the situation, discover it, have fun with it, and then look back at it and I was like, that was not so bad. It was actually quite good. There's not this rigid thing anymore of like, I don't want this. I want to avoid this. I don't think it's pleasurable. There's no value for me. So I don't feel like it, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to avoid it. So that's like irreversible. He's more open to life experiences, to life expression, and to